Welcome back to another episode of Girls Know Nothing. Happy 2023. I can't believe we're in the third week of the year already and I haven't released an episode. I obviously need to up my game. But for the first episode this year, I'm so happy to say that we have Rowe in the studio. I'm sure lots of people know who she is and we don't need any introductions, but feel free to introduce yourself.
So I'm Shell, I'm 23, film and TV graduate, recovering chemo addict.
It's really weird to hear, not weird. I've never heard anyone describe themselves as a recovering chemo addict before.
When you've had as much treatment as I have, it has to be an addiction. I can't walk away. I just love the hospital.
I guess that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because I actually have followed you on TikTok for ages. I think my favorite video of yours is when you stuck wash on, wash off tattoos to your head.
Oh, I loved that one as well. I'm not gonna, I really wanted to go out in public with that one the first time I did it, but I didn't have the rocks. And then the second time I did it, I shaved, my hair was growing back and I shaved it down again because I was like...
Just to make that video?
It was Halloween. I was like, oh my God, I need to go as a prisoner and do this. Because I don't really care about my hair now. I'm like, oh, I'll shave it off if I want to stick Cocoa Pops to it again next week. You know what I mean?
I guess that's I think that's one thing that probably separates you from, other stories I've heard of, because normally when young women are diagnosed with something like you have, hair loss is one thing that they're very conscious of.
Massively.
So I guess I think it's really nice and inspiring to see what you've put on TikTok. But tell me about your diagnosis, because I did Google you and it did say yeah, it's really creepy. I say it to everyone and they're always like, okay.
Love that.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I got diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma when I was 20, and I think that was in 2019. It was just before COVID, I think. Yeah, so it's a type of blood cancer. I'm not sure. I feel like it's more common in older people. And then Hodgkin lymphoma, I think is more common in younger people, but don't quote me on that. It's actually funny, the longer that the diagnosis goes on, the less I know about it, because I'm just I haven't got the space in my brain to keep all of the information, so I actually forget.
I don't think I guess when you're battling something like that, that's probably the least a thing you're worried about, right?
I feel at first you're oh my God, I want to know everything and I want to Google everything. It got to a point, even any kind of treatments I was going for, or say I had to have a PICC line put in, which for people who don't know, it's a cannula that basically goes in your arm and runs to your heart. And they would try and give me leaflets for stuff and be oh, this is what you're doing. I said, babe, I don't want to know. Keep that information to yourself, because it just freaks me out. And I'm I know I've got to do it anyway, so I would just rather not know. I pull my hat down over my face when they're doing things, so I'm just none the wiser.
Yeah, I guess that's saying ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah, it definitely is.
And I guess when you were so young when you were diagnosed, you were saying you were 20. Mm. I guess there's so many things, especially as a young woman, to have to think about. We were talking about hair loss. Another one of your videos that I was really amazed by was when you were making jokes about fertility planning.
Oh, the fun, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how it was done.
So there are different options that you can do, but basically, because when I first got diagnosed, it was stage 4, they were a little bit worried about it spreading to my brain, just because it was spreading in an abnormal way. Okay. So I already had to have my normal chemo and then intrathecal chemo, which is like a lumbar puncture, right? And they just do it in your spine. And because of that, they were oh, we can do a fertility treatment for you to help preserve it, but it would take probably a month. So you get injected with hormones for 3 weeks or something, and then they put a needle into your vagina. Can I say vagina on here?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
put it into your vagina. And I'm not gonna lie, when I heard that, I said it's not for me. Do you know what? Children are a bit ratty anyway. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. And the reason that I told them at the time, I was I'm really worried about it spreading to my brain. I just don't think it's worth it. And that was true to a degree, but truthfully, I just didn't want a needle in my minge. It was a no-go.
No, I was completely baffled by it. When when you're going through cancer treatment, I've had family members that have gone through it as well, you're being poked and prodded in so many different directions.
But not down there. There's got to be a line. Do you know what I mean? I will put up with most things, but I think when it comes to that, I'm just no. In the end, actually, instead... So I was always told my fertility was gone. And then so I'd had 6 treatments at this point and I'd pretty much accepted like, okay, it's not there. And then just before my stem cell transplant, they were like, oh, do you want us to check? We can just do a blood test. I was like, why did no one tell me this whole time I could just have a blood test? So they did, and they were like, yeah, you're still like, you've got some fertility there. I was like, okay. And they ended up removing one of my ovaries instead. So I would rather have surgery than have the needle, whatever they were going to do. Because again, like I was knocked out for it. So for me, I'm like,
oh yeah, okay, yeah, no,
that's much better.
I think that's actually insane that you would rather do that. But it's also really mad to think that at such a young age you had to think about that, because this might not be a definite thing that you want, right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And in a way, I'm like, I feel like I've been more fortunate than some of my friends, because being gay as well, I'm like, well, my partner has a womb. So we kind of get 2 for 1. And I'm like, I've put it on her and I'm like, you've got to have our kids. And maybe we could do something like, I don't know, like IVF and she takes my egg or something like that. I don't really know, but I suppose that made me feel more like I had more options, or like, I'd be up to adopt or things like that. Even in the surgery, I was kind of like, oh, do I want to do this? Like, because I see her as my backup and I'm like, oh, I'll just use hers. Like,
do I get a choice in this or no? I guess that is the nice side of it. I think a lot of young women, especially if they're in heterosexual relationships, do feel a lot of pressure to...
Yeah, like my friends have really, really struggled with it. Understandably. And it has made me feel lucky in that sense that I do have more options than they have, but I'd probably feel just as gutted if I was straight. Yeah,
I think it's hard, but when I was Googling you as well, like I heard that you'd relapsed 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't want to make you emotional during
oh my God, no. I actually find it funny. Like, it shouldn't be funny, but I do find it kind of funny, because it got to a point I was like, I'm tired of actually telling people, because it was so ridiculous. I would like send my friends a flipping WhatsApp once every couple of months, being like, guess who's back, like, and then it's like, it's gone again. And it was just like, I didn't even know when to like celebrate. I don't even remember a lot of the dates. I have like a notes app in my phone now to actually remember like when I've been diagnosed, when I've been relapsed. Like most people are like, oh my God, it's so ingrained in my memory. I'm like, how could I possibly keep up with all of that? It's just constantly on and off, but hopefully off for good now.
Did it ever was it ever easier to get the news every time it happened, or was it just...
Yeah, do you know what? It's so funny. It's always been a completely like different reaction. I think the first time I relapsed, it was only a month after I'd gone into remission. So I was kind of like, it's like I never left really. Like it was straight back to the hospital, and like I hadn't got back to my normal life yet. And then I think after I had CAR T-cell therapy, I was in remission for like 8 months, which at the time for me was a record. So that one was really, really hard, because they had told me that was like the last treatment they could do for me. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, fantastic. Like, that's it. And I'd got my normal life back, pretty much. So it was really gutting to be sucked back into it. And I'd feel the same way now, like, I haven't even got my normal life back. Like, my life has got so much better. Like, so many things have changed, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to have to give it all up again.
Yeah. I guess like going on from that, we were talking briefly off camera about your TikTok. Well, your what did you call yourself? Fun employed now.
Yeah, fun employed.
And how you started TikTok. So last time I checked, you were over 700,000, but that might have changed?
Yeah, pretty much that, yeah.
Yeah. So like, how come you started TikTok?
So I think it's literally like the same story as everyone else, but it was lockdown and I was like, I always loved making videos and like doing skits and things like that. And I like TikTok because like your friends weren't supposed to follow you on it, right? It was meant to be like a private thing. And I was like, this is great. Like, you know, Instagram and all that, you want all your friends and family, but this was the first platform where I feel was like just strangers seeing it. And I was fine with that. And I didn't think anyone was going to watch it anyway. And then I wasn't really posting that frequently. And it was when I got my first relapse, so second diagnosis, that I started like posting more and more and like story times from the hospital. Because I was initially like, I like blew up from posting story times of like Karen's at the Macmillan Cancer Centre. And then it's like this year that it went crazy for like all the hair stuff, but I'd been doing stuff for like 2 years. I feel like my account has always been a little bit different. I just kind of like chop and change with whatever's going on in my life. But now people will only like say to me like, oh, you're the girl who sticks stuff on her head. I'm like, wow, what a legacy. Like,
I mean, do you wish people remembered, well, not remembered, like, do you wish people recognised you for something different to the...
I wish sometimes people would be like, oh, like I've seen your videos for this and that. Like, I don't blame them. Like the ones of like stuff on my head went way bigger than anything I ever did before then. But I like what I want to do with my platform. Like, I want people to be able to like get to know me as well and like be a person outside of cancer and outside of just being bald. Like that,
Yeah.
I think that's what people know me for. So that's what I'm going to try and work on this year, really, is trying to show people like the whole thing. Like, that was really fun and I enjoyed doing that. I'm not sure I want it to be my permanent legacy. But,
Eventually, I would like to have hair.
Yeah.
Not Cocoa Pops.
That's the thing. Like, when my hair was going back in, people were like disappointed in the comments. I was like, sorry. I kept shaving it down for ages as well because I had like, it grew back in so patchy and I had like a bald patch right here at the front of my head. So I kept on like shaving it and it's finally like coming back in all over. But oh my God, it took its time.
I think that's, oh yeah, I can imagine actually like, eventually, like how do you even think of these things? I think I saw the tattoos, the popcorn and the Cocoa Pops one.
I just took people's like suggestions. People were literally putting in like thousands of suggestions. It was crazy. And my dad always, I need to give him credit because he goes on about, he's like, that's my idea. But he came up with it, the Cocoa Pops, and it was like when we were in hospital, just because I couldn't physically eat and I'd like made him buy these Cocoa Pops. He was like, I spent £3 on this. What a waste. Like, we need to do something with it. And he suggested putting it on my head. And I was like, oh, at this point, like, might as well. I was so bored. I'd been in there for like 10 weeks. So the boredom definitely gets to you.
I think, we always talk, well, every time I talk to somebody about social media and having any type of following, especially on TikTok, there's a lot of highs and lows that come with it.
Yeah.
I guess, to me, it sounds absolutely insane for somebody who is going through cancer treatment to be at the hands of trolls. But I guess you weren't free of them.
No, like it's gotten a lot better, but there was like a period of time, so it went crazy. I basically ended up on like the Andrew Tate side of TikTok, like football Twitter, that kind of thing.
Oh gosh.
And it was horrendous. Like there was like a good few months where my comments would just be filled with these like teenage boys or like men, all anonymous, always the same story, isn't it? And like they would literally be like, your cancer should have killed you, like you don't deserve to be alive, like the craziest comments. And I'd read them and I'd just be like, what? And where this all like stemmed from, right? I didn't used to engage with people like leaving me hate, but I kept on getting people like question my gender and like, not even really my sexuality. They would just constantly go to me, are you a boy or are you a girl? Or is it an it or is it... And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind people saying like, what are your pronouns? Like there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a big deal how you ask. And it was not respectfully asking. It was trying to be derogatory.
Yeah.
And on this day, I just thought like, fuck off. I've had enough. Like, it was like, is it a boy or is it a girl trying to be a boy or a boy trying to be a girl? Which I thought it was just so transphobic.
Yeah.
Because even like trans women are women and trans men are men. So I really didn't like the way they put that. And I replied in this video and it was so passive aggressive. And yeah, the like football Twitter hated that. So they came for my throat, just being like, getting messages all the time, like your cancer's going to kill you, it's going to come back, like you're never free of it, don't think you're going to escape, like blah, 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 crazy. So after that, I was like, do you know what? It's not worth it. And I just stopped like just blocking them. And luckily now, like it's so different. Like I barely ever get hate comments, which I'm really like fortunate. Every now and then it happens, but like everyone has to expect that online. But I'm really fortunate that most of the things I get now are really positive and lovely. Like people make me cry all the time. I'll read my comments and be like, oh my God.
I guess, yeah. I don't know what it is about like football Twitter and that side of TikTok, why they just feel like they have the audacity to say certain things to people, because you would never want someone to say that to your family member or your friends.
It's just crazy. What gets me is that literally 1 in 2 people are affected by cancer in their lifetime. And it's like, you might not care about saying it to me, but like your friends and family are probably going to see that. And at some point, like they're going to be going through it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to lie, you can go to hell. You can go to hell. Like saying those things to people, like whatever comes to you, you deserve it. That's what, have the day you deserve. That's what I say to these people now. Like, I sound so bitter. Yeah, I am bitter, but
no, I don't think you're bitter at all. Do you know what? I'm going to start stealing that, and I'm going to start saying it to people that really irritate me.
Yeah.
Like that Uber driver that made me bin my coffee the other day. But anyway, no, I think like when we were talking about like highs and lows of social media, obviously, even though it's been a very tough journey for you, you have been able to create like a career that you love, I guess, and like be able to work a bit more freely. I have seen you, one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on the podcast is that I saw you on your Instagram story talk about how people hated the fact that you were like monetizing off stuff that happened to you.
This was like stuff on Tattoo. To be honest, this wasn't even about me. This was about some of my like friends in the community that people were making comments about. But just to go from the beginning, one of my friends, like a cancer content creator, had said like, this is awful, like Tattle, and I hadn't heard of it before. And I was like,
Tattle's the worst.
Yeah, we're all so nosy. I had to go and look. And it was a thread on like cancer influencers. And luckily I wasn't on there, but there was like a lot of my friends and people that I respect within the community that were just being read for filth. Like I could not believe the things they were saying. And one of the main things was like, trying to, like, how can she afford to do this and that? Like, she's profiting off this, she's making money, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, why does everyone have such a massive problem with people who deserve to make money, making money? Like, they'll be the first to complain when Jeff Bezos is hoarding all the wealth in the world. But God forbid someone that actually is contributing to the public and to our community, like, gets to live a nice life. I just didn't understand it. And the craziest thing was, like, these comments weren't even coming from trolls like I'm used to, so like teenage boys and all this. It was coming from other members of the cancer community. They were trying to justify it. They were like, well, I'm a survivor. And I think that they were saying like about money. They were saying like, they're milking it now, it's been this long since their diagnosis. I didn't know there was a cut-off point, like people are going to be coming for me next because hopefully coming up to my 1 year in remission, like, am I not allowed to talk about it anymore? It was so wild because anyone who's going through it knows that like once you've had cancer, like your whole life is changed and it never goes back to normal, and that trauma likely will not fully heal, So who are you to tell someone when they can like stop talking about it? And even like grieving about their friends, it was like, all right, like pack it in, you're milking it now. It's like, what? Just no empathy, basically.
I think the thing is people forget that something affects everybody differently. And like there can be a multitude of things you can get like PTSD from or things that you'll never heal from. And you would never imagine turning around to somebody else and saying like, I'll get over it.
That's the crazy, like so many people have PTSD from it. Like I don't have any like long term, I don't think, but there was definitely a period of time, like even with losing my hair, I had constant nightmares for like a month of like my hair had grown back in and I'd touch it and it would all fall out, and like I'd wake up just like sweating and crying, and like I wasn't even that fussed about my hair. Like I came around to the idea of being bald and like whatever, not having it. So I dread, if that's how I dealt with it, I dread to think how people who really, really like, are gutted about losing their hair deal with it. There were so many things like treatments that I've been through and then I will have nightmares about and just wake up like screaming or crying. So it's like, how can you say to people, you need to stop talking about it? It has such a psychological impact. It's crazy.
I think with the whole like monetization thing or forming a career out of it, it's you're turning something that's happened to you that's negative into a positive. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
That's totally what I believe.
But also you didn't ask for it.
That's the
Nobody
thing, like,
chose to have this.
So many people, like, when they start creating these accounts and, like, raising awareness and doing it, like, they're not doing it to make a profit. They do it and people love their content and they engage with it. And it just so happens that they are then able to make some money from it. And I think that's fantastic. Like, I want to see more people who are doing good things in the world actually get rewarded for it and be able to make a career off of it. I do not understand why it's so like stigmatized, like, oh, it's so wrong for these people to be making money. Like, I think they're just bitter and jealous, to be honest. That's my opinion.
I mean, everybody still has bills to pay, right?
Yeah.
But it was like when you were talking about being able to do good things, we briefly spoke off camera about how you do some work with Teenage Cancer Trust.
Yeah, I try and do like as much as I can. Like whenever they like ask me to do stuff, I'll always do it, because since the start of my treatment, it's been like 3 years, I've always had support from Teenage Cancer Trust and Macmillan. So like I've been, treated on a lot of their wards by a lot of their nurses. Like they've given me financial help, like loads of stuff. They're just a really, really amazing charity.
I think it's one thing that people don't necessarily realise, that they think when you get a diagnosis like cancer, you automatically think it's just a physical thing and maybe an emotional thing. But obviously there's so many things that lots of organisations out there do for people outside of the treatment stuff.
Yeah, it takes over everything. Like I always say, I think it's like totally 50-50, mental and physical. I feel like if you go into it with a really shitty, negative attitude, which is so easy to do, like I'm not saying that's bad, like everyone deal with it how you want to deal with it. But I definitely found that when I had that attitude, it was unbearable. And it was, we've all had those points where I just thought, I don't want to do this anymore. And it just, like my body would physically, like the anxiety of it, they wouldn't be able to do my treatments sometimes because I'd let myself go so down this rabbit hole. Like I remember even one time, I can't remember what I went in for. I think I had an allergic reaction to chemo or something, but the anxiety was so crazy. Like my blood pressure was going wild. Like my hands were shaking like nobody's business. They're trying to pin me down to put in like an arterial line. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
One in my wrist or whatever for my blood pressure. And like I must have had like 10 people in the room and I was like in intensive care. And it was because my anxiety had just spiraled so incredibly out of control that even getting a cannula in was like, couldn't do it. And that for me is something that I literally did on a daily basis for years. So it's like you cannot underestimate how much of the battle is mental. Because on another day, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid and tell me why we've got 10 people, an ultrasound machine, like people holding my arms down to do the simplest of things. But
so I guess that's why the organisation is so important to you and for you to work with them.
Yeah, because it's like, so there's a few individuals. So I had they're called youth coordinators, and I had someone called Marliese and a guy called Tom now. And you just come to rely on them so heavily. Like they're people you can trust and talk to, and they calm you down. And your friends and family aren't always going to understand what's going on. You don't always want to tell them the truth because it's parents and my girlfriend, they don't want to hear certain things like the way you're feeling. They're already worried about you, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm feeling like this today. So having people to speak to and keep you company in the hospital as well is just so important. I think above all else, what they've done for me, that was could not have got through it without that.
Do you have anxious thoughts, or are you restless at night? Sometimes do you just feel like you're not your best self? Well, making sure that we feel our best should be our top priority for 2023. And by spending a few minutes with Calm each day, you can make sure that you're taking the necessary time to prioritise yourself. Calm helps you stress less, sleep more, and live a happier, healthier life. Their guided meditations, sleep stories, relaxing music tracks, and daily movement sessions are all designed to give you the tools to improve the way you feel. With over 1 million people around the world using Calm, even if you've never meditated before, you'll get the support you need to reduce stress, improve focus, and uplift your mood. The sleep stories help you drift off quickly to recharge your brain, and they're also great for getting the kids to calm their minds at night, so you'll rest assured that they are getting the sleep that they need. If you go to calm.com/GKN, you'll get a special offer for 40% off a Calm premium subscription, and new content is added every single week. So relax. Calm's got everything you need for a happier and healthier you. So don't forget that Calm is offering an exclusive 40% off Calm premium at calm.com/GKN. That's Calm, CALM.com/GKN for 40% off. What would be your biggest piece of advice to somebody that's getting a cancer diagnosis at a young age?
So I think the main things I try and say is you've really, really got to try and be yourself still. You'll feel like you lose so much of yourself to cancer, and to an extent it's true, you're going to go through a lot of changes, but you've got to remember the things that make you you and try and stick to them and have a laugh. Oh my God, you've got to have a laugh. I mean,
maybe not take it to the Cocoa Pops extreme.
Yeah, me and my friends, I just love it. So the fourth time that I got diagnosed, and I get every time it's existential crisis, I'm this is it. I'm on my way out now, guys. And I remember obviously having a breakdown about it, and I phoned my friend up. She lived a minute down the road, and we got there. And we just started laughing. We were just absolutely cracking up. And the cheek of this bitch, right? Because I was meant to be going for my stem cell transplant literally the next day. And she knows that more than anything, I hate packing a bag. And I had to pack for like a 10-week hospital stay. I was dreading it. And I get there and she goes, well, at least you ain't got to pack that bag. I thought, I actually cannot believe you. But you need friends like that to have a laugh. And like, I always remember that. And it's so weird that my memory of that relapse is actually more a testament to the strength of that friendship than actually feeling in this place of like absolute despair. Like, you need to have those people around you who can joke with you. Like, it just makes it bearable. I couldn't believe, like, literally off the phone with my doctor 10 minutes later, we're cracking up on the pavement. We looked like crackheads. We were sat down on the street and like, well, it was just ridiculous.
I guess that's the thing, like, I know, like, having had family members that have had cancer treatment, you always also feel like you need to tiptoe around them, but I guess that's not what you want.
Yeah, oh my God, so many people feel that way. I've made a few like skits on TikTok because one of the things that really gets me, like it makes me laugh, doesn't actually annoy me, but like whenever cancer is mentioned anywhere, and it's mentioned all the time and you'll notice that when you get diagnosed.
Everything.
Yeah, anytime an advert is like on the TV or something on the radio or whatever, everyone in the room just turns to me and is like, and I hate it. I feel like I'm under a microscope. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, cry? Like, can we just, like, I hate it. My girlfriend, like, I don't know if she just does it to wind me up now. She'll, like, just do a side eye. You know, like dogs, when they're eating something they shouldn't be, and she'll be like just checking in on me. I'm like, mind your business. Back on the TV, please.
You couldn't imagine that happening for anything else.
No, it's just so awkward. I think I hate... Like this, I just hate people like looking at me for how I'm digesting the news of certain things as well. Like I used to really struggle whenever I would get bad news in hospital, like with the doctor. Like I would just try and hold it in, and then I'd like sneak off to the bathroom and cry because there's nothing I hate more than people like looking at you or touching me, especially. That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Like I know people naturally want to like go and be like, oh, there, and like stroke your back, and I'd literally like getting scoliosis, like trying to get away from people.
No, I like we have talked about like, you know, quite a lot of the low sides of it. Obviously some of the positive that you have your fun employment now, and you have done some really amazing things. I saw your appearance in Lewis Capaldi's music video. I'm very jealous. I love Lewis Capaldi. Never replies to any of my DMs though.
Oh God!
But like, how did that happen? Like,
I was so gassed about that. So that was at my old management. They did like a lot of music stuff. And funnily enough, actually, you know, Summer, so people listening, Summer is like at HLD as well. She was managing me at the time. So she messaged me and she was like, I was on the train at the time. She was like, do you fancy doing a Lewis Capaldi video? I jumped out of my seat. Like people on the train must have been like, actual weirdo, like keep it to yourself. But I was so excited. And I think that was one of the first like proper kind of work things I had done. And obviously it was just such an amazing opportunity, and it's so cool because he's doing like a series, I think, for his new album. So each song is going to have a video that's like dedicated to a different story, like all kinds of different things. So I just thought it was so amazing to give your platform to different people and like project their voices. I thought it was really cool.
No, I thought it was really cool. I also would be very excited if I got a phone call to be like, Lewis Capaldi wants to work with you. So I wouldn't blame you for jumping up and screaming on train. But, you know, it's not your only campaign that you've done. Like you've worked with like the brands of like Aldi and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that was with like Teenage Cancer Trust as well. So off the back of the, so all the hairstyles I was doing online, just for ages I'd wanted to fundraise for Teenage Cancer Trust, and I could not, like, I can't do anything physical. Like my physical health is still like at a 0 at the moment. And my dad did the marathon for me. I think it was in October. So that was great. But I still wanted to do something myself. And I just thought people are really like engaging with this stuff. Like it's also really good for raising like a positive dialogue around hair loss in women. Like, why don't I contact Teenage Cancer Trust? Because I'm always like in chats with them anyway. So I just sent my contact a message and was like, do you guys want to do this as like a proper campaign and call it like Anything But Hair? And then we did it, and Aldi like matched funding and all that. And it was so much fun. I love the looks that came out. So if you look on my Instagram, it's like there was like a flower look, and we did like a feather mohawk, like it looked like a feather bowl cut.
I loved it.
I actually loved it. It was so like camp. I was like, why would I actually wear this out? Like, I love this.
At least it's easier to look after than like hair.
Yeah.
But What would be what's like your most favourite thing that you've done?
What for?
Well, since your new career.
Oh my God, there's literally been so many things this year. Like when I like edit together my little 2022 recap, it made me so emotional because I was just so blown away by how a year that started so bad turned into what it turned into. Like I think I went to like a Marc Jacobs event, which was like the first event that I got to go for from TikTok. I thought that was so cool that they'd even like heard of me or wanted me to come to this. And I like going to Disney premieres and doing the video with Lewis Capaldi. And I've done a few like documentary bits and just so much stuff. Oh my God, the Tango Ice Blast machine. Can't forget that. That one was crazy. I literally what was really funny, I didn't even tell my mum about this really. I just applied for the competition and didn't think I was going to win it. And then I won it and we thought it might be like a little countertop.
You won a full...
It was a cinema-sized Tango Ice Blast machine.
I'm actually really jealous.
Oh my God. And when it got delivered, like, I'm looking at my mum who keeps on giving me like the side eye.
I would be giving you the side eye.
Making comments, she was like, oh my God. I was like, pray for me. It was coming in the house like this huge delivery truck. Yeah, it was massive. It even had the screen on it and everything. But yeah, it was in my house for like the whole of summer. It's gone now.
Oh, did they take it back?
Yeah, it was only ever meant to stay for a month and they actually let me keep it for like, I think it was like 4 months or something. I even had I made my own flavour and I I did the marketing I was like, I want to come up with something. I think I called it coconut shell colada to have the little pun in there. And then my hair had just started growing back on my head and I looked like a coconut. So I was like, can you guys turn me into a coconut? And I roll on the screen. so they did that for me. No, but it was amazing. I'm going to see if I can get it back this summer. Tango, if you're listening, please.
Okay. Maybe don't tell my mum. But you have mentioned that you're a gay woman. And I was really surprised, actually, that there aren't that many public-facing gay women.
Yeah, I don't think there's loads. I think gay men get a lot more of a platform now because, especially looking at things like makeup brands, right? Like, it's almost the thing to do now to be inclusive. And I feel like a lot of the time, actually, people's first step is to put gay men in things, which is great as well, but they're not the only people, that could do with a platform and being featured in these kinds of campaigns.
Do you feel a lot of pressure to know that you are one of those very few public-facing gay women?
I mean, I feel really honoured to be able to have some kind of a voice. I want to do more stuff to do with LGBT because I feel a lot, most of my audience, I think they know I'm gay. It doesn't take a genius.
I mean, they do
looking
now.
At me. It doesn't take a genius, but oh my God, I forgot what I was even saying. Sometimes, this is chemo brain, right? And sometimes I'm literally mid-sentence and then it's just gone. It's out the window.
To be fair, I don't have an excuse and I always do that.
No, saying, yeah, so I want to do more LGBT, related stuff. I would love to be known as more of a figure in that community too, because I think especially, I know it's not exactly groundbreaking, but definitely coming to terms with my identity this year. When I first lost my hair, right, I went really masculine because I'd always been a bit of a tomboy anyway. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just lean into it and didn't mind too much. But then I kind of I was like, I actually really miss getting dressed up and doing my makeup and things like this and wearing jewelry. And I kind of felt like it wasn't for me anymore because I had to be this masked lesbian. And it was only, I think it was after my graduation, my friend was like, oh, let me do your makeup. And I was like, okay. And I loved it so much. I was like, why the hell have I been gatekeeping makeup from myself, being you're not allowed that, you have short hair and you like to wear men's clothes. And I think I've just gone on this whole journey in the past year or so of just actually really enjoying experimenting with gender and maybe being more androgynous and mixing masc and femme. And I think I just want to show other people that there is literally no rules on anything. You can wear and do whatever you want. And it sounds really silly, yeah, of course you can do that, but I always considered myself pretty open and proud, but I'd stopped wearing makeup the second I lost my hair. So maybe I'm not
That's the thing, with people that are not very, I was going to say savvy or open-minded, they're always oh, which one's the girl and which one's the boy? Yeah. And it's well, neither, because we're gay. That's kind of the point. So, yeah. It's weird to hear that, maybe you felt that you also had to fit in to a box.
Yeah, I think I often looked at like what I thought people expected of me. And because people had always known me as this tomboy, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I've got to fit that role. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I don't mind. I love being like masculine as well and like doing all of that. But I think I really suppressed that. There are lots of feminine things that I enjoy doing. And I think people try and like create this binary, like you really have to be one or the other. And it's just not the case. And I'm kind of embarrassed for how long it actually took me to be like, oh yeah, like you can be anything you want to be. And now I'm just having so much fun, like trying to experiment with and play with gender as much as possible and like do fun camp looks. And yeah, I'm just trying to do more and more of that every day.
I think so. I'm an openly bisexual woman, and I always get a lot of messages, especially from young women that don't know if they are, like, and things like that. You know, when did you realise, or was it always a thing that you knew about?
This is really funny, actually, because so I actually had a crush on this girl in like year one, right? And every day I would ask her to be my girlfriend. But it was coming up to Valentine's Day, and like I was trying to win this girl's affection, and my two like boy best friends fancied her as well. We were like, let's do a joint card. And we wrote this girl a card, and oh my God, I haven't even told my mum I was the ringleader of this. So I lied to her and said it was the boy. So if she's watching this, I'm really sorry, Mum, that this is how you found out. I wrote a song in it, and it said gonna blank her name. I want you.
I want to know where you're getting this from.
I was in year one. I didn't even know what it was, but I just thought, yeah, that's romantic. Put it in a card. Anyway,
our experiences of year one are very different.
Oh my, yeah, God, I was going in head first. But like her mum found the card in her bag. I got called into the head teacher's office. Luckily, back in whatever year that was, apparently lesbians didn't exist. And they were like, this couldn't have been you, Chell. Like, you know, we know it's the boys and you were just influenced. And I went, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go with the prejudice. It was the boys. Get them, bag them.
throw your mates under the bus.
And I got like grounded for like 2 weeks. Fair enough. And I think it scared the straight into me for a little while, subconsciously.
Okay.
And I didn't fully realise I was gay until I was like, that 14 maybe. Okay. 14, I was like, oh, right, it's coming back out. And then all those memories came flashing back at the song. And I was like, she always knew. She knew.
Yeah, I think I don't even know what to say. My brain's kind of like, oh my God, what? But I think like...
Catch it on Spotify soon. We're gonna bring out the song. Like.
I don't know if you're gonna get that past Hannah, but she's just shaking her head. But no, I think it's always really hard because everyone's journey is very different, and you also don't owe anyone justification or an explanation on your own sexuality.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think at the time when I came out, I think I was like 18. Like oh my God, I was like shaking. You feel like you need to tell everyone like, oh my God, like I've got to come clean. I'm harbouring this dirty secret. And now I'm just like, if I could go back, I wouldn't have bothered. Like it's absolutely no one's business. And like, you know, they'll find out when I post my girlfriend on Instagram. Like, you know, it's only come out if you feel like that's something you're comfortable to do and you feel like you want to do it. Like it's really not a necessity anymore.
What would you say to people? Like what advice would you have to people that are questioning their sexuality?
If you're doing a BuzzFeed quiz, then the answer is yes, you're gay.
I've never actually thought about
Are you kidding me? You never did that. Am I gay quizzes? Like, girl, read the room, you're gay. Like, if you're on Google, like, typing that in, you are gay.
I mean, yeah, that's one way to look at it. I think actually that's probably the funniest piece of advice I've ever thought. Yeah, fair enough. So I asked people pretty much a similar last question. So for you, like, I want to know what you would say to those people that judge you and your success based on the fact that you've made your success as being a cancer survivor. Do you know what? I think if there's one thing about me is I'm going to turn something that maybe makes the odds stacked against me into something that works for me. Because I think really there's no other way to be. Like you either sit and you're going to let these bad things that happen to you define you and like, you know, like feel all this self-pity, or you can be like, right, okay, how can I actually make this work? You know, like, I don't know, you just got to spin it. I think this is like my business hat on. I'm like, think of a way that you can actually benefit from this and turn it into something positive that is bringing happiness back into your life. Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's nice to, like, trolls are very clearly unhappy people. So it's nice to know that you're actually happy with what you're doing. But honestly, thank you so much for your time and for being strangely open about your year one experience. Like I'm going to leave here like thinking about it still.
I've been meaning to put a TikTok up about that because I still find it so funny, but I know the girl as well. I ran into her at like a party and I was like, do you remember that? She was like, yeah, I remember that.
I would run away very quickly.
Okay.
It's one of those things that when you're asleep and you're like, you remember that thing you did like years ago and you're like, oh.
Guys, I think I'm a hopeless romantic. Like, tell me if you got that card now. You're like, oh.
Part of the restraining order.
Blocked.
But no, honestly, thank you so much. And I really appreciate the honesty. And, you know, I can't wait to see what you get up to for the rest of the year.
It's been real.